The Overwatch 2 launch was riddled with problems, but Blizzard just went live with a blog post addressing many of them. If you've been missing out on your cosmetics due to the account merge or wondering about the servers as well as SMS Protect, Blizzard addresses all that in this blog post. Community manager Jody posted this: "Hello heroes, yesterday was an exciting day for the Overwatch team, a day that we know you have been looking forward to for a long time. While millions of players have been enjoying the game, the launch has not met your or our expectations. First, we want to apologize to our players. We expected the launch of Overwatch 2 to go smoothly. We hold ourselves to a higher standard and we are working hard to resolve the issues you are experiencing. We want to provide transparency on these issues, fixes we have made so far, and give you all insight as to how we're moving forward." And they link to a list of known issues and then also bugs here. But we'll take a deep dive into the top issues. SMS Protect. Now, this is a huge problem if you owned Overwatch 1, but your cell phone is a prepaid phone, which many, if not all, do not work for the SMS protection program, and every Overwatch 2 account requires SMS verification. So you literally had a game that you paid for, it went free, and you lost access to it if you didn't have the right type of phone. So this is their response to this. "We designed Overwatch 2 to be a live service, which enables us to be responsive to a variety of player feedback. We have made the decision to remove phone number requirements for a majority of existing Overwatch players. Any Overwatch player with a connected Battle.net account, which includes all players who have played since June 9th, 2021, kind of an oddly specific date, but will not have to provide a phone number to play. We are working to make this change and expect it to go live on Friday, October 7th. And I'm reading this on the 5th, so that's a couple days before this even goes through, so keep that in mind. We will update players once it is in effect. We remain committed to combating disruptive behavior in Overwatch 2. Accounts that were not connected to Battle.net as well as new accounts will still have to meet SMS Protect requirements, which helps to ensure we're protecting our community against cheating. If a player is caught in engaging in disruptive behavior, their account may be banned whether they have a new account or not. As a team, we keep listening to ongoing feedback and will make further adjustments in this area if it is required." This is super important and starts to get to some consumer rights type issues, because what they're saying here is boldly, just because some players won't need to do the SMS Protect if you played Overwatch 1 in the last year or so, if they catch you doing disruptive behavior, you just lose your account. And oh well, you got to do the SMS Protect on a new phone number if you want a new account. And oh yeah, if let's say you were a player that grinded the game every single day up until this very specific date of June 9th, 2021, you have to do the SMS protection too. I have no idea where this date is coming from. Seems incredibly arbitrary. I reached out to Blizzard to get clarification on this. That date is when all Overwatch accounts required a Battle.net account. That includes all the consoles too. So if you played on PC at any point, you would have already had a Battle.net account. It's required to download the game, and you would have made one on every other platform starting June 9th. The scenario I outline of a diehard fan that gave up on the game applies to console players that never linked to a Battle.net account. And this is always a tricky thing with these types of games, because somehow these games companies are kind of allowed to have their own rules. When you buy the product, you're just buying into the service of the product, and they have the rights to turn it off. Like, I think it's shady that they do that and can do that. Like, they stopped adding content Overwatch 1, for example, but this is way worse, because this is a thing you bought that you thought you had access to, and now you have to jump through hoops just to use the thing you had. I'm not sure if this is going to make the community happy or not. I think it's better than nothing that they're folding in recent active Overwatch players, because that's about what this time frame indicates. Like, if you've played in the last year, you're a current fan. But let's say you put the game down in the power creep era and said, screw you, Blizzard, I'm not playing your game. Well, now you need to get an entirely separate phone plan to play your game still that you bought the first time. That's super rough, and we'll be monitoring this. I'm sure this discussion is not over. Looking at the other subjects now, queue issues, server crashes, and stability. TLDR, we have addressed some issues and are in the process of addressing others, but players should still expect to see queues, unfortunately. The post says, login queues, server crashes, and stability problems are intertwined, so we'll talk about them together. Players may have been seeing their queue numbers jumping around, going from a small number to a large number. This is due to there being two queues for players, one's through Battle.net and one's to the game itself. This process is usually invisible to players, but was being seen in real time. We have made changes to simplify the queuing process, so players should now only be experiencing the one queue before entering the game, the one queue to rule them all. There are several areas we're looking to improve stability. Today, we've patched a server that is critical to the login experience, and this change has increased login reliability. Beyond queues, we're in process with another server update that will reduce the occurrence of players being disconnected once they're already in game. Finally, the player database is being overloaded, which cascades and causes a backup in the login system, which eventually leads to some people being dropped out of queues or being unable to log in at all. We're continuing to add nodes to ease the pressure on the player database. The process of adding nodes requires replication of data, which inherently adds pressure to an already stressed system, so we're doing it slowly to not cause any further disruption as devs and engineers work through separate issues. We are also currently throttling queues in order to protect the player database as much as we can while we scale. This feels bad in the short term, but once it's done, will greatly improve the experience for players across multiple fronts moving forward. I'm going to pretend like I understood all that. Let's put this in real terms. Overwatch is like a ship, and it's being invaded by pirates. Batten down the hatches, defend the poop deck. Blizzard headquarters looks like that SpongeBob meme where he's running around in circles and everything's on fire. Next section, problems with account merge, missing player items or data. TLDR, you have not lost any items or progress, though some players are logging in and seeing some or all elements missing from their collection. Your skins that you paid for or earned in Overwatch 1, a lot of players got a big shock with the big PvP update where all their things were no longer available. We've received a number of reports from players that their inventory in-game is partially or totally reset. We've determined that the cause for the discrepancy in approximately half of reported cases is players having not yet completed their account merge. This is understandable. One cause for this is due to a bug with the launch build not providing an account merge prompt on some consoles. We rolled out a partial UI fix earlier today to help some console players progress through the account merge flow. However, we are still working on fixes for additional UI issues. In the other half of reported cases for this issue, things are just taking longer than expected for items from the original Overwatch to transfer and populate in Overwatch 2. In all cases, no player data has been wiped or lost. We have a client-side fix for this that cannot be deployed until next week. So we are exploring server-side fixes and will provide updates as more information becomes available. So client side, that means you'll download a patch that should fix it next week, and they're looking for a fix on their side first. But in the meantime, you might not have access to your cosmetics, but they claim they know which ones you have and don't have. Listen, guys, we got to be empathetic with Blizzard on this one. It takes a lot of work to repackage the old cosmetics with a new price tag. Now, what's more, there was a separate issue with account merge where players who had merged their console and PC accounts were experiencing problems logging in. This bug is now resolved. If you watched any community streamers on launch day, you might have noticed some had more trouble logging in than others. This bug was the primary cause for that. So there was like a meme floating around that I think this is directly referencing that console players just could not get on the game and PC streamers could. And it almost looked like, hey, maybe they just want some of the famous Twitch streamers to have access to the game. I don't know. Conspiracy theory time. Okay, so hopefully that's fixed. One more section here. Incorrectly locked heroes and items for existing players. This is an issue separate from account merge, but the player experience is the same as the above, where heroes and items that should be unlocked for existing players are appearing as locked. These cases are almost certainly related to our first-time user experience flow incorrectly being applied to existing players. We have seen relogging into the game resolve this issue in most cases. If you're still experiencing this issue after taking these steps, please open a support ticket. That data is very helpful for our team. On the day of launch, these issues were exacerbated by DDoS attacks. While they did not directly cause any of these issues, they made the environment in which we work on these issues more challenging. We have not suffered any further attacks. We are committed to keeping you all informed and will provide more information as it becomes available. Please keep an eye on @playoverwatch for additional updates. Not great, guys. Not gonna lie. I almost feel like failing to log in is less of a bad impression than logging in, losing all your cosmetics, and needing to unlock all the heroes again if you're a longtime fan. That sounds horrible, and if any of you went through that experience, I can understand being quite mad. I'm a big fan of Overwatch 2's gameplay. I'm quite addicted, but I, like the rest of you, need to be able to log in and play the game without getting kicked out of it. Considering the amount of work Blizzard needs in order to sway the opinion of the general player base, they gotta get these issues fixed and stop causing more problems for themselves, because it was already a tough sell for a lot of players to consider Overwatch 2 an upgrade. While all this stuff is accidental, it's still a downgrade for the players that had to experience it on these days, and that sucks. We can't even call it Warcraft 3 refunded because it's a free-to-play game. We'll be monitoring whatever further changes they make on this channel, so to make sure you catch our upcoming videos, please be sure to leave the video with a like to show us support, as well as click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get notified directly to your cell phone when our new videos come out. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.